People who note right out of a friendship. What was your breaking point with that friend? So we had this project together back in high school for our law class project. Ours was on criminal law. The project was worth 30% of our grade. So I was heavily involved in musical theater. So I told her, give me all of the work you want me to do. I'll do it for you by Thursday. But after that, I have commitments to theater. It's tech week, so I can't do any work. So she agreed. She gave me 3 sections to complete. She had 3 sections, and so did our other friend. Thursday came and I submitted all of my work and uploaded it to the PowerPoint. I was done. I get a text on Sunday the project is due Tuesday, and she tells me that she needs me to do another part. When I asked why, she said the other girl just didn't want to do it, so I had to. I got mad and said, I already told you I can't after Thursday, and she says the stupidest thing. When life throws you lemons, you have to be wearing your protective gear so it doesn't knock you onto the ground. I got even more mad and was like, fine, I'll have it done for tomorrow. So I stayed up really late during tech week doing this other girl's work. I sent the lemon excuse girl my work and then uploaded it to the PowerPoint. The day of the presentation comes and we get to the part with the work I did on Sunday. I noticed everything was spelled wrong. She edited my work and misspelled everything that I had. So, for example, I put when the lawyer meets the judge, she replaced it with when the lawyer meets the judge. People started laughing at her spelling mistakes and it lowered our mark. She also moved my work and gave it a different heading. I did a part on the Criminal Code of Canada and she changed the heading to how to become a judge. I was so mad. I confronted her about it and her excuse was, well, you had to get ready with that lemon gear. And you weren't. We weren't friends after that. Frick that bee. For real. He asked my girlfriend for nudes. She delivered. Sounds like you dodged 2 bullets at the end of the day. She got angry at me and demanded an apology. I didn't know what I'd done. Plus she had raging crazy pregnancy hormones. I asked what it was for, and she told me I knew what I'd done and she wouldn't speak to me again until I apologized. At the time I was crushed. But as the days and weeks passed, I began to see how toxic she was. I found new hobbies. Life moved on. In hindsight, I'm glad she ended our friendship. Life is a lot better without her. By the way, I'm pretty sure she was angry because I didn't get excited enough over a $6,000 crib she was thinking about buying for the baby. I just couldn't get excited about a $6,000 piece of furniture that would be used for 2 or 3 years at most. Constant negativity, no matter what. Came home one day looking drained and unhappy after spending the afternoon with her. My mom said to me, you always look this way after spending time with friend. And I was like, I always feel this way after spending time with her. Huge eye opener. Cut the cord that day. Your mum saved you from an emotional vampire. I always asked my best friend to hang out and she always claimed to be busy. Easy enough to believe. One day I asked and as usual she says no, working. 15 minutes later she texts saying I'm here. Confused, I said, oh, did you take off work? Her reply, oh, wrong person, haha. Haha indeed. This happened to me when I invited my best friend to my college graduation. She forgot she told me she had to work, then texted me she was so happy to have the day off. I never told her and she never put 2 and 2 together. She was always angry at someone, often for something she did. She didn't get along with people and she was proud of being difficult. Eventually I realized while I loved her when we were children, I no longer cared for the person she had grown into. When her boyfriend that we became friends with through their relationship posted in our friend group chat about struggling with depression and that he had to redo a year of college. In response, she wrote a long essay about what a lazy sack of crap he was that would never amount to anything because he didn't try hard enough. This was one of many of the crazy nightmarish things she did, like call him 70+ times in an hour. My other friend and I realized that we actually liked him a lot more and that she was an abusive crap heel and dropped her. He's now one of my longest lasting best friends, so it was the right choice. I realized that none of them considered me a friend and were just keeping me around because they thought it was funny and sad. Ditched all of them. Made some actual friends. This happened to me this year too. Much happier now. I had a grand mal seizure after having a huge, meltdown level panic attack. She videotaped both and laughed at me the entire time, and encouraged others at the party to come watch. Thankfully, a non-butthole came to my rescue and called 911. I would have died, because I vomited and almost aspirated. I also had a gnarly concussion from hitting my head on a counter, and the floor when I collapsed. She posted the video to FB. It got taken down. She titled it something along the lines of a whale. I am a chubby girl and it forced me to move from the town I was in, and change my name because of the massive fallout, drama, harassment, legal stuff, and BS afterwards. I'm now best friends with the girl who saved me, and we live together with my boyfriend and her kiddo. The memory still messes with me and caused major trust issues. I never thought she would be capable of such horseshit. She blamed it on being drunk. Yeah, right. Frick you, Layla. Wow, frick Layla 2019. He had a drinking problem and it started to become me babysitting him whenever he got drunk because he'd just be a liability, and eventually after trying to talk with him about it and him not accepting it, I just kinda stopped hanging around him. This could be written about me. I'm sober now though, but it ruined a lot of friendships. He wrapped a rope around another friend's throat and then attempted to stab me. I heard attempted murder is not okay. One of my best friends since I was 5 and I used to always get into mischief together. We ended up in the hospital together, broke laws together, everything. Halfway through high school I began thinking about my future and participating in extracurriculars. Since I also had a job at this point, to him, I was a dirtbag for ditching the group and he consistently talked trash about me. I didn't take it to personal since I knew he had some personal family matters he was going through. But when he sat my girlfriend down and told her that she was changing me in bad ways and not letting me live my life, even though she came after the job and extracurriculars, I realized he was dead weight holding me back and was done. Hey, my ex-best friend did the same thing to my now married wife. He's been out of my life for almost 4 years now. I've heard he's grown up since then, but obviously not enough to reach out to me and apologize. Made plans months in advance with her and another friend to go see a movie and get dinner for my birthday. She said she wasn't feeling well and couldn't come and then posted a ton of pics of her and her new gay bestie at Pride. The worst part was he was just an accessory, and she was onto the next friend whose views and styles she'd emulate within a few months. I sorta feel bad because she clearly has no personality of her own and is quickly bored of people when the shine wears off. Has to be lonely. Anyway, the other girl I invited showed up and continues to do so. I'm very fortunate that my ex-friend brought me and my current best friend into each other's lives. I've never had a friend who considers me their best friend and not just someone they fall back on when they have no one else. Lol, it's so gross when girls use gay guys as accessories. I know exactly what you mean. Didn't come with me to the hospital after breaking 2 bones in my foot playing trampoline basketball together. He left me there alone to go smoke weed because his mum was out of town. He was 25 and still living at home. I had to drive myself, find parking and walk to R&D alone with a broken foot. What a dong. We never did anything talked unless I instigated it. I decided to stop and figured if they wanted to hang out they would be in touch. That was about a year and a half ago. It makes me sad. I got a new phone and lost all my numbers. Although my number was the same. Haven't heard from her in 4 years. She got insanely peed I didn't use her semi-retired parents as realtors to buy my new house. Her parents live 70 miles from where we were looking to buy. You should never use friends' family for big financial transactions etc. As soon as issues arise, it's much better to argue with a stranger that you don't mind calling out or crushing in court. You don't want to be out $10k because you didn't want to hurt your cousin. She called my then BF and I over for her cultural holiday and then again for her husband's birthday. I usually have people over for Christmas, but my mum was on bed rest and I was running the house and taking care of my mum for 3 months. But this so-called friend kept asking when I was having them over, so despite it all that was going on with my mum, I called them over Christmas week. I couldn't cook but did order in. During the evening she actually says, "This is a lovely evening, but don't forget you still owe us one more dinner since you came over to ours twice." A month later, I get her a jumper for her birthday. She calls to say it's too big. I say okay, we'll return it for another size but will take time because of my mum. She says she will go and return it. I said well with no invoice wouldn't work. She goes anyway with a bunch of other birthday presents she wanted to return. Then calls to say the store said the jumper I got her was showing a lower price. The store was on sale by then and needed the invoice. She kept calling me to check when I was going to collect the jumper and replace it, and at one point said she would keep it and that she would one day wear it when she put on weight. I got too tired of the whole thing. I went and got a gift card from a totally different store for the amount she had approximately spent on my birthday gift. She clearly wouldn't rest till I'd spent as much as she had, or she believed I'd spent that much. I collected the jumper and gave her the gift card and basically ghosted her till she stopped calling. When I realized I was just there to be the third wheel and make them look better. We were walking to a classroom and I just stopped walking and let them go. They didn't even stop. High school was rough. I had a friend who I was beginning to realize was a bit toxic. She'd call me up and never really have anything to say, so I'd do the talking, which I found hard going. When we were in company she'd publicly ridicule me for the littlest of things. I stayed friends with her, I think because we'd been friends for so long rather than because I liked her or that she even liked me. It was a friendship of convenience. One day she asked me to be her +1 to her homewares show after she won a free entry to a competition. I'd given up my day to go to this thing on the other side of town even though I didn't really want to go, but my friend didn't want to be alone. So I went for her. We watched the show. It was kinda boring and not my style, but it was an interesting diversion. Every audience member had been given a lucky door ticket. The prize was $1,000 voucher at a department store. As we took our seats, my friend turns to me and says, "You'd better give me your ticket if they call your number." I thought she was joking and so I sniggered a little. Then I thought to myself, this is a moot point because I never win anything. At the end of the show they draw the ticket. They called my number. I go up and they ask for my details and say they'll be in touch once they've made the voucher up in my name. I go back to my friend and she says, "I'd split it with you 50/50 but I can't afford that, so how about I give you $250? I couldn't believe it. She was serious. It was dumb luck that she won a ticket to the show at all, and then dumb luck that I won the door prize. How could she say she couldn't afford it? It cost her nothing. It was all gain. Anyway, it took a week or two for the department store to contact me to say they had my voucher. I quietly traveled back to the other side of town and collected my prize and never spoke to my friend again. Toxic friendship over. I have never missed her. Conversation during a history class in high school. The dickbag said, "We broke into 2 houses this weekend and got some cool crap. Come with us next time, dude." Met this girl through a mutual friend and she was awesome at first. Fast forward and I'm studying for the bar exam this summer and she calls me late at night. My sleep is precious at this point and wants me to pick her up at a bar and mediate between her and the cops because she punched her boyfriend and he hit her back. I go without thinking twice. Several months pass of her talking crap and saying she's done with him, and she invites me to the bar and I show up and she's there with that same guy. It just put me in a weird position and I'd never do that to someone else. Also, she thinks the earth is flat. Frick that. I've sworn off friendships with people who think the world is flat without question. I shouldn't feel like your mother. Spending time together felt like a chore and stressed me out, so I was done. The friendship was replaceable to her and her actions screamed it. Eventually I just got tired and told her good luck. I had 3 roommates my freshman year of college. Me, Emily, Hannah, and Danielle. Names change here. Danielle and I automatically clicked and it was great, and I got along really well with Hannah. But there was quickly tension between Emily and I. Emily was super neat and clean. I am a bit of a clutter bug. Regardless, I respected the fact that we had shared space, and I kept such spaces clean. Except every now and then there would be trash left out, or dirty dishes. Small things at first that then became larger and more frequent. Emily blamed me, since I was the messy one. She would flat out yell at me about it. I wasn't the one doing it, but I didn't know who was. I was really struggling with my anxiety disorder at the time, and I would literally sit in my room and cry because I didn't know what to do. The living situation became so toxic and full of anger. Danielle would always comfort me and talk about how much of a B Emily was. I was very shy and never had many friends, so I clung to Danielle as my one confidant and support system. Things escalated all year. One day Emily's entire bottle of expensive shampoo was emptied out in the shower. Another day, someone had deliberately swept handfuls of crumbs underneath her door. It was freaking ridiculous. She and I ended up having a screaming match at each other during finals week, before we all moved out for the summer. Neither of us could come to terms with one another. Anyway, it was like July and I was texting Danielle and she tells me she has something really funny to tell me, and she tells me that it was her the whole time. She told me she hated Emily, and she wanted to play a prank on her, so she was the one causing all the issues. She honestly thought it was funny, even though she'd watched me have anxiety attacks all year over all of it. She also said she wanted to make sure I was close friends with her and not our other roommates, because she didn't want to lose me. Yeah, I basically dropped the friendship real quick after that. I still think about the entire situation and how freaking crazy and childish it was. I'm also a bit ashamed that it took me until that moment to really step back and see how horribly she treated people. She still sometimes messages me and asks why we grew so far apart. Yeah, it's because you're insane. Emily and I are pretty good friends now. BTW, she and I are going to be bridesmaids in Hannah's wedding Saturday. Whoa, that's freaking nuts. I'm glad that you and Emily got to be friends afterwards. He refused to believe that if he didn't know something, it still existed. Was a real condescending butthole about it too. So one D&D night I just snapped, yelled at him and walked out. When I realized I never enjoyed talking to them anymore and they were draining my energy every time they did. The moment I realized he wasn't a cool guy that had bad moments, but a horrible sociopath that seemed cool when it suited him. He had been great when he wanted me to resign the lease after months of being at each other's throats. It really is a terrible experience when you have a true sociopath in your life. I never really understood what a sociopath was until I befriended one. Left a huge scar in my heart and gave me trust issues. Destroyed a good chunk of 2017 for me. Talking to her automatically put me in a negative headspace. I would feel mentally drained just seeing her name and a message pop up on my screen. I told myself I wouldn't initiate any conversation over the holidays to keep myself positive and she never bothered to either. I guess we ghosted each other. She became an ice addict, accused and abused the frick out of me for apparently stealing her Adidas jumper. She left it at my place. I left it on the front porch in a plastic bag for her to pick up. It sat there for weeks. She never came to get it. Still accused me of stealing it and basically ended our friendship of 6 years. Don't do kids. You have been visited by the Holy Fruit Boy. If you comment Tiny Turtle he will bless you with unlimited holy fruits. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check out another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.